Welcome back to Joellen's Kitchen. Today we're going to make funnel cakes. They're a very popular item at the fairs around here, but they are an old Pennsylvania Dutch recipe. And by the way, this last week or so, I had delivered to me via Florida from a lady who used to live here in Lebanon County, moved down there, and she had a set of 5 Professor Schnitzel 45 albums. And guess what? I got the whole set. Her nephew brought them back for me. And let's see if we can read them off here. This one says, Pennsylvania Dutch spoken hereabouts. And this one says, I was saying Pennsylvania Dutch humor. This one says, Dutch as sauerkraut, Pennsylvania Dutch humor. Here we have Schussel Alongwit Schnitzel. So that one is number 4, and number 5 is Imagine That, Pennsylvania Dutch humor. Now once I'm able to play these, maybe I can share some of the jokes, or the humor as they're calling it, that I find on the records. So that's for the future. I thought I would share that. And again, we're going to make Pennsylvania Dutch funnel cakes today. So I have already measured 1 1/4 cups of flour. I have 1 egg, and I also have a 1/4 cup of sugar measured. So what I'm going to do is break this egg and put it into my sugar. I like to mix the two together before I stick it in the flour. And I'm just going to stick this in here and stir it around. If you prefer to beat the eggs separate, you can do that too. I don't want to, I see my camera's wobbling when I'm on the table doing that, so hold it up a little bit. Sorry about the wobble. Okay, we have some mixed sugar and egg. We're going to pour that into the flour. By the way, if you have an electric stove, you might want to get your oil, because you kind of like deep fry it. So if you have some corn oil or something that's a little bit healthier, get that heating up a while. I have a gas stove, an old-fashioned gas stove, in fact, if it's your first time. And that gas stove heats up instantaneously, so I don't want to have that boiling over while I'm over here mixing, but electric stoves are a lot slower. So the next thing I need, let me double check my recipe here. By the way, I'm using an old Pennsylvania Dutch cookbook, so you know these are authentic. And we need a teaspoon of baking powder. Put that in there. And then we also need a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, which isn't a heck of a lot. And if you want to measure it out, you can. I usually just use my hand on the salt. I'm so used to doing it. And then the final ingredient, I'm going to reuse my measuring cup, is 2/3 of a cup of milk. Oh, I wanted to show you that this is PA preferred milk. I try and use Pennsylvania preferred milk to support our Pennsylvania farmers. We also bottle the Swiss premium dairy milk right here in Lebanon County. So it's both Lebanon County and Pennsylvania, of course, but it's an honor to support our dairy farmers. And of course we have the egg farmers going on, and the wheat with the flour. So we're supporting all kinds of farmers in general. And we're going to add this milk. I think we have everything in. It was really only 5 ingredients: the egg, the flour, the sugar, the milk, the salt, and the baking soda. I couldn't count, that was 6. Okay. Now we have a whisk. I don't need a mixer for this. And we're going to stir it up till it's nice and smooth. With our whisk, we're going to mix it. When you make a funnel cake and you get your oil hot first, you start in the center and you make like I don't know if you call it a corkscrew, but circles until you get out far enough. But you don't want it touching the sides. You want it floating freely in that hot grease. So that's just some pre-instruction. Woo! Really had a mess go that time. Okay, now we have our funnel cake mixture. You can see it's going to pour. And what we want to do is get a funnel, of course, and we're going to hold our finger at the bottom of the funnel and pour this. Yeah, let's go get our oil hot, and we'll get our funnel, and we're going to pour this and make some hot funnel cakes. We also have our powdered sugar standing by, and this is a little old-fashioned sifter. Like, you can scoop it and get a cup, and then you sprinkle it on top of the funnel cake, and that's how they're normally eaten. But you can also put fruit toppings on them, nuts, whatever you want. You make it your funnel cake. But you see people walking around, they're making them hot. As fast as they make them, they're selling them at the different fairs in Lebanon. Have my frying pan here, and I have some mazola corn oil. I'm going to use that, and I'm going to pour it again about at least a ½ inch thick so that it'll float in there, maybe a little more. Maybe you want to see this up close. I don't always do this up close. I usually have my camera sitting in the back. When this is down, the line is shut. When this is in line with the line, the gas is on. And then we have, here are the knobs for the burner. You turn this on, and then you want to get your lighter started, and you should go down there, and there is the flame. That is how we start this old-fashioned gas stove. And I'm just going to turn that flame down a little bit, flexible. So I'm going to get this oil cooking, and we're going to get ready to drop our funnel cakes into it. We'll let it heat up a bit. Okay, now oil is boiling. I put a drop of water in just to see if it was hot enough. So it looks like it's starting to boil for me. Here we have a funnel. You want about a 3/8 inch to a ½ inch opening on the end. And we're going to pour the funnel cake mixture, again starting from the center. And we're going to make a circle going out. Okay, I think I'm going to put the rest of that back in. And by the way, if you have a slotted something, this again is an old-fashioned slotted spoon of sorts, that ladle, I guess you could say, that was on my grandpa's farm, and I retrieved that, so I'm going to use that to flip it. You flip it only one time. And when you take it out, you want to put it probably on a paper plate so that any excess oil gets absorbed into the plate. Then you don't have to eat the oil. You can see how it's puffing up and floating. Okay, I can see it's brown on the other side, so I'm going to try and get under this. And I might use an extra tool to help me a bit, but to let the grease drain, we definitely want to use the one like that. We're flipping it over. Look how nice and golden brown that is. And then we are going to let that cook just a little bit there. And that should do it. Okay, one funnel cake. Okay, we're back here at the table and we're going to try out this funnel cake. And as I said, what we want to do is either dip our it's one of those days, what can I say? We're going to dip our strainer in and fill it with the Confectioners sugar. and then just sprinkle it across the top like that, and voila, you take it up, and you can either use your fingers or you can break pieces off. Either way, it's a fun treat. The kids will like it, the grandkids will like it, your husband should even like it. Have fun.